In the last video, I ended the video by using a term called set it and forget it. From a quick Urban Dictionary lookup on the internet, because I couldn't remember from what infomercial or prior to there ever being an Amazon, we had like home shopping channels on television. I couldn't remember where the phrase came from. Turns out it was coined by a Ron Popeil for a rotisserie product, kind of like the George Foreman rotisserie stuff, which I think George Foreman also did use that phrase. I could be wrong. But set it and forget it in spirituality is really important. It really, to set it means you've had a spiritual awakening. You realize you're a spiritual being. You realize that there is a greater you than the you that there was in the world. And you've come to acknowledge this as what you truly are. You are a spiritual being. Every single person is spiritual. There is no two ways about that. Everyone is spiritual. So you're a spiritual being. You said it. And now everything that comes along with that on your journey as you grow and mature spiritually has to be forgotten. You have to let it go. There's that popular phrase that everyone says, let it go, let it go. I remember in my first spiritual awakening back in 1995. Actually, it was 1996. My first spiritual awakening happened in 1994, but it was in 1996 that I left Toronto and I moved out to the West Coast, to Vancouver, British Columbia. And I encountered a lot of people here who claimed to be spiritual. And I would talk to them about my spiritual experiences, my mystical dreams, my synchronicities, my pareidolias, all that kind of stuff. I would talk to them about it. I met lots of people that guided me and directed me in ways that I needed to be guided and directed spiritually, knowing that I had just undergone and just taken over this transformation, and which was really first spiritual awakening as a sign of greater things to come. And I was trying to live in it all the time. And I met people that claimed to be spiritual, but were never really spiritual, who just were passerbys. They checked it out, they took a look at it, and they thought that to themselves, yep, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense, this applies to me, this doesn't apply to me, I am spiritual, I'm not spiritual. They were up and down all the time. But the one thing they kept saying to me is, Nick, let it go. Let it go. You have to release it. Let it go. Especially when it came to talking about my dream experiences and God and the Ancient of Days and Jacob and the Bible and the New Testament. When I started bringing in those type of figures, I got a backlash that I didn't expect. Nick, let it go. Okay, it's ridiculous. What are you talking about? Just drop it. And then other people who were a little bit more compassionate would say, you have to release it. You have to let it go. Let it go. I didn't understand that term. Even right up until like my second spiritual awakening back in 2018, I didn't understand. But then in 2018, who could have ever prepared me for a second spiritual awakening? And I kept thinking to myself, they're trying to steal something from me. They're trying to take my God from me. They're trying to take my spirituality from me. They're trying to like steal it. No, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to drop it. You have to set it and forget it. Hey everybody, welcome to Tea Talk. This is Nick. Thanks for joining me. Please leave comments down below. Or reach out to the email if you want to, discuss something one-on-one. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't cost me anything. It's a free service, and we can just talk. I'm not professing here to be an expert at anything. I just share some of the things that I have seen as I'm growing and maturing spiritually. And having gone through 2 spiritual awakenings, I think it would be beneficial to people and prepare them for what lies ahead if they had a first spiritual awakening, or maybe kind of understand one another if you've had a second spiritual awakening. Everything else in between that you may consider a spiritual awakening, and I don't want to knock any of the channels on social media that claim that you have multiple spiritual awakenings, I see them as spiritual glimpses. Prior to your first spiritual awakening, you have glimpses leading you to that point. After your first spiritual awakening, You have constant glimpses, not altogether all at once, but they will come in succession and will guide you slowly to that second spiritual awakening. And then after that second spiritual awakening, they'll be more profound. They'll be more noticeable. You'll have a greater awareness about you. There will be changes going on through you that you won't fight as you would in your first spiritual awakening. So please, feel free. Drop me a line. Doesn't cost anything. I don't charge for anyone, and I will never charge or even consider monetizing this channel. What I'm offering is free, and every single person has it in them, but not every single person awakens at the same time. So let's get back to this. The importance of setting it and forgetting it will help you greatly. And as I said, I didn't understand that. I thought people were trying to steal something from me, and I didn't get what they meant by drop it and let it go. Some of those people were deceiving. They were spirits that, when it says test the spirits, it means to test people, because everyone is spiritual, and the Spirit of God is in everyone, but not everyone is awake, as I said. And you have to test everyone. You have to test the spirits. And sometimes you don't even know you're testing them. And then other times, you can feel it. It's a discernment. It's an innate knowing that something is off about this person, that person, the other person. They're all reflections of you, and they're just indications of something being off with you. But you have to kind of distance yourself or move away from them, or just kind of like leave them alone. And that's the one way to kind of disregard thoughts in itself, is just to kind of leave them alone. Don't entertain them, or else it's going to become a noise pollution to you that is going to hurt you and not be of any benefit to you. So some of them that did approach me were, had different ideas, had more of a reasoning and rational mind, and they were more about the science and the facts of the world than they were about understanding or listening to anything spiritual, because the spiritual experience doesn't have a definition, doesn't have a backstory, that can't be defined, can't be expressed properly, although we try, but it can't really be expressed properly. And the spiritual experience is just something that can't be proven. It can't be proven. There is no proof for it. The only proof is that you believe the change that is taking place in you. You resonate with it. You find like-minded individuals, guides, gurus, whatever. It could be your Bible, could be your poetry, it could be lyrics that resonate with you, song lyrics. It could be television, theater, could be whatever, But there is really no proof of a spiritual experience, except that you have to take it on faith. You are having a change. This change is happening in you. And no matter what your reasoning mind and what the reasoning reflections of your mind all around you from family and friends, social circles and whatnot say, it cannot be proven. It has to be accepted. And there is this innate knowing of accepting this and knowing this. No one will be able to talk you out of it. I mean, as I said, people came into my life, and some of them were very deceiving and very manipulative, and were all about the facts of the world. And some of them were sincere. But I was going through the first stage of spirituality, and I couldn't really discern, and I couldn't really properly test the spirits. So I was hearing, drop it, let it go. Drop it, let it go. Release it into the universe. You have to release it, I didn't get it right up until I was almost, in my mid-50s. I didn't get it, I didn't understand it. And I thought someone was trying to take something from me. And then when I had my second spiritual awakening, and it was more profound, more impactful, more visual, more realistic than anything I could imagine. So real that, I feel like I'm held back here in this world. I feel living according to the physical sense of living that I'm held back. And that's how great of an impact and how profound that second spiritual awakening will be for you. It still is to me, and I am growing, evolving, and maturing in it. And every day is a blessing, and every day is filled with love and joy and happiness. And I don't have to worry about holding on to anything. I am a spiritual being. I've set it in place. I've set it in mind. That's it. And I have to drop it and walk as though I would walk in my natural form, knowing that I am spiritual. And in my natural form, I don't need to think about how to walk, how to talk, how to act, how to be who I am. And that's what it means by forgetting it. That's what it means by letting go. You are what you are, and you don't need to hold on to it to the point that, you need to convince the whole world. You will testify of your experiences. Make no mistake about it. You will speak about them. You will try and help whoever you can. But there has to be a letting go, that when you talk about it, it is natural. It is almost as though you were talking about what happened on last night's hockey game, or a Monday Night Football, or the World Series where the Blue Jays lost. I mean, it has to be natural. And that natural is by accepting it, setting it in place. This is what you are. And then dropping it and becoming natural with it. Almost, becoming supernatural with it. I should say, with all the spiritual glimpses that come along with it. But in all honesty, you have to let go. In spirituality, you will travel down many roads, and in your second spiritual awakening, you will identify with the one and only true spirit. Call it God, call it Jesus Christ, call it consciousness, call it energy, call it light, call it the great creator. Whatever term you use, it all applies to the one single thing. So that road that I'm referring to, that you understand now, you have set it in place, that you are spiritual and you belong to a spirit, and the Spirit of God dwells in you, and you are the temple of God. There are many roads. There is the road of an evangelist going out there and talking about it, but not from a historical point of view. You have to talk about it from your experience. You have to tell them about Jesus Christ awakening in you, the resurrection of God in you. You don't point the finger to a single person 2,000 years ago. A prophet talks about the testimony of God, talks about the experiences that happens to them. A teacher is no different. A teacher will take the spiritual understanding and create a road for those interested in it, but it will be a truthful road. It'll be a guide about a spiritual awakening within you. A healer is the same way. A healer has to know that they can heal. And whoever seeks healing has to believe in that healing power, because it is not the healer that is doing it, but the spirit in the healer that is doing it. So the spirit in the other person has to identify with the spirit of the healer in order for the healing to work. Because healing is definitely a drop it and release it part of your journey. You know you are a creative power, and that creative power has multifaceted outlets, and one of them is healing. That's a creative power, but that's the spirit in you, and you have experienced this healing, whether it be through a stranger, a friend, a pet, an animal that you have. Somehow you have had this experience, and there's mystical experiences that come along with it that tell you that you have the gift of healing. But even though you have it and it works marvelously, and you can do whatever you can do to those who wish to be healed, they have to want to be healed. You can put it in your mind also and not mention anything, and the healing power of thought works just as powerful. There are those that are apostles that, I'm using Paul's 1 Corinthians term of identifying the different stages of spirituality, and the different, not stages so much, but the different aspects of spirituality that you will encounter on your journey. All of these require to be walking naturally, where you don't have to remember you healed this person. You don't have to remember that you prophesied about Jesus Christ and the awakening of Jesus Christ in you to that person. It becomes natural. And it becomes this verse from Matthew chapter 10 right here. Don't worry about it. Although this verse is directed to people that will call you out and do harmful things against you and whatnot, don't worry about it, because at that moment, it is not you that speaks, but it is the Spirit in you, which is God, that speaks. And you really have to take that verse from Matthew seriously. You are a spiritual being. You are a creative power. You are God. There is no two ways about it. God made you in his image. That's spiritual. He made you in his image. There's only one Spirit. And there's 1,000,001 quotes in the book of Job about that one Spirit and the breath of God in them. And there is only one Spirit. And that Spirit has to be natural. Although it is a supernatural event when it happens to you, when you're actually a witness to, let's say, a healing, when you're actually a witness to someone actually receiving the testimony and having it like the Holy Spirit lay upon them, understanding and believing truly of the awakening of Jesus Christ in them, it is natural. It has to be from a natural place. Now, to get away from all the things like prophecy and prophets and evangelists and healers and whatnot, your manifestations and meditations have to be that way. They have to be natural. They can't be forced, and they can't be calendarized, if such a word exists. What I mean by calendarized is that you can't mark a date on a calendar and say, on this day, I'm going to speak about this thing and that thing. Or on this day, I'm going to meditate like this and that and whatnot. Or on this day, No, it has to be a natural thing. If you get up in the morning, you feel like meditating, you meditate. Or in the afternoon, or in mid-afternoon, or in the evening. Whenever you feel like it, you meditate. If you feel like meditating all day, that's fine. But it has to be natural. If you get up and you don't feel like meditating, don't force it. Don't force it, because then you're just showing a part of your human side to the spiritual person you are trying to mature into and grow into. So don't force any of this stuff with spirituality, especially with manifestation. Don't try and do it constantly. Let it become natural. And that's why I use words like exercise. You have to treat spirituality for what it truly is. It is a birth. It is a new life. And you have to nurture it. You have to grow with it. You have to train it. You have to teach it. Or you have to learn from it. And you have to evolve and grow slowly. If you're trying to conquer spirituality and become a great and powerful spiritual being, one, that can never happen. It is impossible, because you're still in the world, even though you're not of the world. So that can never happen. And two, by trying to conquer it all in one day, it'll never happen. You cannot be a full-blown spiritual entity and also be a human entity at the same time. To quote Neville, you will expand and you will contract. And that's the way it works. And that's not by forcing it. That's by naturally letting it happen. That's by saying, okay, you know what? I experienced this. I know I'm capable of doing this. Now I will train myself to become adequate, or even greater than adequate, at this spiritual gift that I've received, But it has to be natural, and you have to drop it. And you can't, like I said, force it. It has to be something that, okay, today I did it. Maybe a month from now, I'll do it again. It may be a year from now, I'll do it again. And then you'll see that the duration of time shortens each time. And that goes with your manifestations and what you're trying to achieve with your meditations. The time will shorten when you relax and release it and just act natural and just be natural about it. The change is already set in stone. Your first spiritual awakening is a sign of greater things to come. Your second spiritual awakening will show you that it's a birth, it's a resurrection, will show you that you are growing and evolving and maturing and learning and being taught by the Spirit what you can do with your spiritual gifts. And at the same time, it will be in a natural way. It won't be in a forced way. Forcing it and holding on to it, like I tried to do in my first spiritual awakening, is foolishness and nonsense, because that doesn't make you natural at all. What it does is it inflicts a sort of desperation and a self-preservation kind of mentality towards something that is glorious and wonderful and should be accepted as the free gift that it is, and the understanding of what you truly are. And understanding that you're truly this, you don't need to do anything. You can absolutely just, let it go, release it, and you will see the little things come into your life. And the manifestation has to work the same way. Just release it. Okay, today I created this. 3 weeks from now, I created this. 5 months from now, I created this. A year from now, I created this. And each step is greater and greater and greater. And each step fills you with that confidence and that faith and that belief in you. Not a belief system around you, but a belief in you, in understanding and knowing that you are this creative power that you've been searching for. You are this life-giving spirit, this life-altering spirit, to alter your life for the better, to change someone else's life for the better, to help others in need, to do unto others as you wish done unto yourself. That first spiritual awakening, I know you're going to want to try and hold on to it, and you're not going to listen to anyone. You won't even listen to this video. You won't even listen to me. You're just going to try and hold on to it. But I'm telling you, release it, because when you release it and understand that you are spiritual and it can never be taken from you, then watch the spiritual glimpses that come into your life. Watch the manifestations that take place. Watch your meditation when you treat it this way, how it works for you and not against you. Because very many people out there are crying. And you just have to go to your spiritual social media sites and you'll see. And I'm not talking about the creators. I'm talking about the people leaving comments who don't understand this stuff, who are crying about this stuff, who feel hurt by this stuff, who are angry and mad and say all sorts of foolish things about this stuff. So it's important to be natural with this stuff. Like I said, you can see examples from people's comments, exactly how they feel. And you can also see the positive comments too, respecting the creator of that content and telling them that they identify with it. They recognize this, they get it. But I don't know if there's many channels out there that actually tell you to be natural with your spirituality, to set it in your mind, in your head, just to set it, especially when you've had a first spiritual awakening. It's set in stone. God will do a wonderful work in you and bring you to the day of Jesus Christ, which is your second spiritual awakening and the exiting of this world into the heaven and the world, spiritual world, that you are learning about and growing and evolving in. And so I don't really know if there's any channels out there that are speaking about how natural you have to be with spirituality. Now, does that mean that you abandon your actual physical, natural self and become full-on spirit? Well, no, I already told you, you cannot become full-on spirit. You will always expand and contract, but every expansion is more learning, more understanding, more wisdom, more awareness. And then you'll contract and come back to your normal state for a period of time, and then you'll expand again. So no, you will never, ever be full-on spiritual. But as you are natural in your natural self prior to your first spiritual awakening, you have to understand and set it in your head that you are spiritual. It's done. End of story. The work has begun in you, and will carry you through until your next spiritual awakening. And then that will confirm your first spiritual awakening, bring to memory everything that you had done in your first spiritual awakening, and start the process of something greater, wonderful, more fulfilling and exciting happening in your life that will take you out of this world feeling comfortable, happy, and understanding that nothing can hurt you. But you have to do it in a natural way. And the natural way doesn't require, as your physical natural being, doesn't require you to think about how to walk, doesn't require you, if you understand how to speak and you can control what you are saying and not let yourself get carried away, doesn't have to think about what it's saying. doesn't have to think about how it works, doesn't have to think about how it breathes, doesn't have to think about how it sees or hears or smell. And that's how natural you have to become with spirituality. And that requires releasing and letting go. And then watching everything conform to exactly what you want in your life. And it all starts in here. You have to change this first. This is where the training begins, inside here. And you'll watch your training evolve by how everything else around you on the outside conforms to how you have changed inside. This is T-Talk. This is Nick. Set it and forget it. I'll see you next time.